Hey everyone, this is Dean from Paranormal Pickers. Just getting ready for our next Paranormal Picker adventure. Come on, join me. Good evening everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday night with Paranormal Pickers. Tonight we're celebrating Season 3, Season 3, Episode 8. And I got my window right here, peeking outside, waiting for the big storm to come in. So in leading up to that, I got some things to talk about real quick before we start our regular show. I wanted to start 15 minutes early to do a little Alabama prelude, if you would. So last Friday, or March 24th Friday, Dale Kazmarek and I drove down to Alabama, and we left it. I got to his house like at 5:45 in the morning, so we started early to head down there. And we were supposed to be down there at a decent time. However, there was 3 different accidents that caused us to be delayed for about 3 hours. So there was like a semi-truck crashed down in southern Indiana, and there was 2 other traffic jams. That one was actually, we detoured off the highway, and then we ran into another one that had both lanes blocked off going in both directions. So, you know, we're going up off ramps, down frontage roads, going through flooded waters, you know, all this different things just happened on the way down there. And of course, with Dale and me, you never know what adventures are going to be in store. So we turned around this one corner and we saw this big sign, haunted trails or something like that. So of course we had to get out there and take a picture of that. So we finally get down to Alabama. And the first thing Dale wanted to do was look for his stepfather's grave down in Littleville, Alabama, in Hyde Cemetery. He's got a picture of the tombstone. We go down there and look like 3 times each, couldn't find it. So we're like, well, let's get something to eat and then get to the cabin and then start the thing we were going down there for. So later on, I actually GPSed the cemetery, GPSed the name, so then Monday when we returned, we had a good idea where the stone was. We still couldn't find it at first, and then it was kind of butted up against this other one. So I ended up finding it for him. But it was like, it was hidden. I mean, it was Hyde Cemetery. I don't know if they were playing hide and go seek, but it's more like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde spelling. So, and then we got traffic from a rodeo that was going on. And then to top it off, I don't know if y'all heard, but there was a tornado down there. Rolling Forks, Alabama was crushed by a tornado. This was 5 hours southwest of where we were at. That storm was heading in our direction. We're in a cabin in the woods with no shelter, and these winds start picking up. And it sounds like a freight train going through these woods. The rain was intense. The sirens were going off all over the place. And we learned that a tornado, EF2 tornado, touched down in nearby Florence, which is about 20 miles away. We went back there through the other day and saw these giant trees falling on these old homes. And of course, the damage in Rolling Fork was just incredible. So our hearts and prayers go out to the families out there. Bring me back up in Illinois. a week later, here I am at the Harvard Moose doing another tornado warning. And about 20 minutes southwest of me, in Belvedere, the Apollo Theater's roof collapsed. One dead. So my heart and prayers go out to the family members as well. And now we're experiencing some more storms tonight. So I don't know, man. Storms are chasing me, apparently. So some of the things that happened in Alabama, we were going down there and we stayed at a cabin. So for 3 days, we actually were going for the spook lights, the amazing Cloverdale, Alabama spook light mystery. So we stayed with Wyatt Cox in the cabin. So I got his signed book here. So for 3 nights, we went out there with a group of people and just sat there and waited for these lights. Didn't really see too much out there, so they said that it is slowing down. They'll have to examine throughout the course of their investigation how often this occurs. But we were still down there. So during the day, of course, Dale and I went on our adventures, and if you go on Dale's web page, you'll see, or a Facebook page, you'll see some of the stops that we went to, like Trowbridge Ice Cream and Sandwich Bar, Sweetwater Mansion. That was cool. Actually, that had some tree damage, but the house is in, there's no one lives there. And I believe it was up for sale. I think it was purchased in February for like some $1 million or something like that. I think that would be, I told Dale, I go, yeah, I'll buy that with you. Put a couple park homes on there, and nice place. Went to Huntsville, which was also hit by tornadoes and wind damage. But we went out to Maple Hill Cemetery, where the Dead Children Playground was. There's a cemetery, and then there's like this limestone wall, and there's a park in there. And then there was a couple graves that are noted in there. And then the old depot that was out in Huntsville as well. Back in Florence, you have the Alabama College. I believe it's northern Alabama. So there's a story about an off-campus bookstore where a little girl was looking for her dog. Pope's Tavern, that goes back from the early 1800s. We walked in there. So it was more like a sightseeing trip. We really didn't do any investigations per se, but just to visit some of these sites. The Florence Indian Mound. Now, Dale walked up those. As you could tell from my breathing, there was no chance that I was going to do that. The Forks of Cyprus. You just see like the ruins of it, but it's all it's all not in the public. You can't get to it unless you have like special permission. So all the stuff we were kind of just doing drive-bys. That was just like off the side of the road. No plaques, no nothing. We found some plaques there, but not at the battles. The Ritz Theater in Sheffield, and the University of North Alabama, Winston Home, the Sheffield Post Office. Yeah, break it up. One of the government people here. Civil War skirmish sites. So we had a good time down there. Like I said, we more sightseeing than anything. But I wanted to address the storms because of the fact that one, I was really close to it and right in it. Got some video of it. It's hard to tell because it was so dark. The wind was so strong. even Wyatt, I mean, I go, that sounded like a freight train. I turned around, I see him running back in the cab, and he goes, it sure does. So I was like, okay. I was like, there's nothing. We're in a cabin in the woods. There's nothing you can literally do. If it hits you, you're done. You're pretty much done. So that was some of our adventures down there. So hopefully the storms are pretty tame tonight, but wanted to give a little introduction to what we did in Alabama. So now I'm going to bring on my co-host, Samantha. Hello, Samantha.
Hey, Dean. How you doing?
Pretty good. Welcome back to another week of Paranormal Pickers.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
I see our guest is down there in the green room.
Yay!
Raven, hello. This is Becky Vickers is waiting for us. She was supposed to be on earlier, but she got a little sick, I guess, and so she felt bad. She says that's the first time she ever had to cancel out on somebody, but if you know me, that happens to me all the time, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, very normal, and at least around here.
Very normal for me, yeah.
Hi, everybody in the chat. There's a lot of folks jumping in saying hi. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't even click on the chat here. So what happens is there is a link in the invite to allow Facebook and StreamYard to pretty much talk to each other. So if you don't click on that link, you come up as Facebook user, kind of like what you see down there. So whoever's saying hey. And then someone says, nice sunburn. When I was in Alabama, it snowed up here. It was 83 down by me. People were cutting grass and driving in convertibles. So, and then Laura says, hey, Bama man. So as you can see, she clicked on the link. So she said, hide and go seek. And we got Dorothy Moore. Hello, hello. Now, Dorothy is from Tinker Swiss, correct?
Yeah, she's one of our volunteers.
There you go, yeah. So, yeah, our special guest is waiting in the wings. Now, you had an event this past weekend in Galena, Illinois.
Yeah, so I went with Kathy and Sarah, the rest of the Haunted Rockford crew, and we went out to the second annual Haunted Galena Conference at the DeSoto House, and it was so much fun. Ted and Robin host it, and they do such an incredible job. The speaker lineup was amazing. The vendors were all fantastic. It was just such a fun event. The tornado sirens went off on Friday night, and everybody hunkered down in the basement. And we
That's where it's haunted.
It is. It's where our vendor table was set up too. So
did you go behind the bar area into where you saw like the history of the roads? You could actually see where the first road was.
Oh.
And then over time, how much blacktop is, how much that city has risen.
No, I didn't see that. We were in the room where they kept all the dead bodies of the Civil War soldiers that died in that train accident.
Oh, they got the picture of the train in the back there? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was, but it was a good time. We really enjoyed it. Hopefully they'll host it again next year, and I'd love to go back again.
Will do, yeah. Well, without further ado, let's bring Becky Vickers into the. Hey, Becky.
Hey,
how are you doing?
Everybody.
Hi.
Wow, what
Sam,
a good studio you got.
Oh, this is all my weird stuff.
I love it. Oh my goodness. We got to step up our game, Dean.
Yeah, look. I got black, like my soul back here.
Oh, gosh.
Samantha's got white because she's the angel. And you got all this stuff over here.
It might be a much. It might be a bit much.
Oh,
Never too much.
yeah, never too much, exactly. Well, welcome to our show. This is Paranormal Pickers, Season 3, Episode 8. And I appreciate you joining us tonight. I know we got stories.
I'm so sorry about the last time I caught COVID, and I have never missed a show ever here, and so I apologize. So
that's all right.
I'll talk a lot and make up for it tonight.
Well, from looking over your resume, you have a lot to talk about.
I'm old. What can I say?
No. Well, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody then?
Okay, well, I'm Becky Vickers, and I have been researching the paranormal for over 40 years now. Started young, and man, it just never gets old, does it, y'all? I mean, you just keep going and going out.
Investigating
I think I was 5. No, I'm kidding. I was 16. And I had lost my grandfather very suddenly, and that kind of, I just wasn't ready to let go. You know, that feeling like, oh no, this can't be it, no. And so that kind of got me into the paranormal, how to communicate with the dead, and still, you know, try to find ways to communicate with our loved ones. Mm-hmm. And so here I am.
You know, that reminds me, because I was 18 when I lost my grandmother, but that's not why I got into paranormal, oddly enough. I actually had a recording which I thought was a ghost, but it turned out being a friend that kind of said he didn't do something, but it ended up that he did. So I was more instantly very protective on what evidence I see and hear, because I know.
I understand that.
So I have to question everything and test everything only because of those early beginnings.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why I got started in the field, is because watching the amount of ghost shows that started coming on, and I was entertained by it, of course. And then they're telling these people that their house is haunted. I'm like, well, wait a second. No, I think I know what it actually is doing here. And they're saying it's a ghost. I'm like, no, I think it's not a ghost. It's this, you know.
Wait, the wind's blowing really hard. That door didn't open like that. Yeah. So
I was like, you know, yelling at the TV, you know, but, and I lost my friend, Ken. Him and I would go fishing all the time. And
oh my God, I love fishing, just by the way.
Yeah, as soon as we went muskie fishing up north, and as soon as he passed, I went ghost hunting down south. I went to Orlando, Florida was my first ghost hunt.
Oh,
so I went
nice.
the opposite route, just kind of something different, you know, take my mind off things. So.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you joining us, and so you communicate with the dead, and
I do.
Is this a 24/7 job for you?
Well, you know, I always joke that I constantly deal with both the living and the dead, because my daytime job is an HR manager. And so during the day, I'm dealing with people, and at night they're dead. So, yeah, it's all the time for me. So,
well, yeah. How rude of me not to introduce Sam, Becky, Sam.
Yeah, that was rude. I wasn't going to say anything, Jean, but, you know.
Well, you know, I'm used to it at this point.
What the hell? You know, she's sitting there very quiet and patient. I missed where you went, Sam. Where is it that you were talking about? That you guys were talking about?
Galena, Illinois is about 90 minutes west of Rockford, and it used to be a city that was bigger than Chicago, way back in the early 1800s. And it dwindled down after a while, and Rockford was actually started as Midway, because it was Midway, Chicago, and Galena.
Oh.
And then Rockford took off and was a big boom, and so Galena is like this cute, picturesque little town just nestled in the rolling hills near the Mississippi. It's just amazing. but they're extremely haunted, and the whole town is very proud of their haunted history as well. So there's a bunch of different paranormal tours you can take. The Galena Ghost Tour Company is the ones that actually hosted the conference this past weekend. But I mean, you can go just about any week of the year, and there's some sort of paranormal something or another going on.
What is the name of it? I'm writing it down. I'm taking notes. Galena. Is that anywhere near Alton, Illinois?
Alton is about 4 hours south of us.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to a conference there in June. That's why I was asking, because I'm like, do I need to make a side trip out here?
I was thinking about going to that one.
Yeah. Come on, girl. Yes. It's so fun. I love Troy.
Yeah. We went back in 2019 and it was amazing. And it's just gotten bigger, and we're at a new place this year. So, girl, come on down. Come on up, whatever it is. A little bit.
Well, now you introduce yourself to Sam. Thank you. Now I don't feel bad anymore.
And hi to your listeners and the people commenting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got Laura out there. She's part of so we belong to a team called Ghost Head Soup. And Laura Redmond's out there.
Ghost Head Soup?
Ghost Head Soup. Not to be confused with goat.
I have to know how that name came about. I'm sorry. I've got to know.
Well, we have an old man on the team called Mark.
Yeah.
And he's a hippie kind of guy.
That's cool.
He was listening to Angie, and he hates the song Angie from the Rolling Stones.
Oh.
And he goes, it's on that Goat Head Soup album. And he goes, Ghost Head Soup. And that's what he's.
I love it, man. I love it.
So that was it. And the soup thing is, we kind of started with the concept of the stone soup idea of everyone pitching in and throwing ingredients into the soup and making it into
very nice,
delicious things. So that was the concept anyway. So yeah, we've been doing that since about 2008. So we stuck with it.
Awesome, amazing.
Yeah. So you belong to what, the Lake City's Paranormal?
Yes, and I actually am the founder of Beck's Ghost Hunters. Isn't that original? I don't have any story behind that.
How'd you come up with that name?
It just came to me in a dream. I don't know. Yes, Beck's Ghost Hunter is usually what people know me as, and I like to say that Beck's, because I had to come up with something, right? I didn't want to be like, I don't know, it's too obvious. So I like to say it stands for behind every cloud is a kindred spirit. How about that one?
I like that.
Not as good as the soup, but yeah. And I do tours out at Goatman's Bridge here in Texas. No, I'm sorry. Where are you guys from?
Illinois.
Oh, both of you guys are in Illinois?
Yeah.
I love Illinois, by the way.
Yeah. I'm a stone's throw away from the Wisconsin border.
Wow. So you guys are having some bad storms, right?
Yeah, they've been pretty bad.
Yeah, I've been seeing that on the news.
Yeah, we're waiting on another one here.
Dean went to Alabama, got himself stuck in some storms there, and brought them all back with him up here.
What the hell, man?
Yeah, I was about.
It's stormy. It's a little stormy here in Texas tonight. I think he's froze up.
Oh,
but
no.
see?
I'm on the show by myself. What are you doing?
I can hear it. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, you're going back.
Yes.
All right, we're back. Yeah, I see it glipping and all this other good stuff. Yeah, I was about 5 hours away from the Rolling Forks tornado that struck down. That hit Rolling Forks, Mississippi.
Wasn't that awful? Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah,
Everybody, my prayers go out to those affected by that.
Totally.
For
And
sure,
I
that was
was, that storm hit us. It hit us. We were just on the outskirts of a EF2 tornado, and
Ew.
we got the strong wind, lots of rain. I'm telling you, it rained so hard and loud, you could barely hear the tornado sirens going off.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I was in a cabin in the woods. Yeah, we went out there to do
That's a true horror story sounding spook-like.
spook lights.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we went out there with Dale Kasberick and did something like that. So,
And
so
did
you
you get
mentioned
anything cool?
Yeah, he actually mentioned Goatman's Bridge, and I'm like, oh, really? By chance? Do you
Well,
know?
I love him. Thank you.
Do you know who I'm going to have on Tuesday night? So
That's awesome.
you actually wrote a book about this bridge, correct?
I did. It took a lot of years. I tried to do the best I could on research, but a lot of folklore, I think, in my opinion, starts with something that was factual. And then over the years, it kind of gets stretched out and this sort of thing. But yes, it took about, I don't know, I'm going to say 5, 6, 7 years to actually put it together and get it in some sort of a book, because I wanted to tell about the spirits there that we encounter regularly on a every weekend kind of basis, and how to communicate with them. I wanted to put pictures in it. We have some really bad spirits, and doing research on a couple of those really got to me. So I'd have to put it down for a while and take a break and a breather and go back. But yeah, I did, and it was on Amazon's bestseller list, so I was super pumped about that. And
nice.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Is that your only book then, or no?
I have actually participated in another book called Paranormal Stories 3, Volume 3, I believe. And I am working on another book called 50 Shades of Darkness. And it is all about what you need to know before you get into the paranormal. You know, like TV just makes it look like, oh my gosh, it's so easy. You just grab a camera, you go sit in a dark room. But you guys know as well as I do, it's not. And there's a lot of dangers. And so I want to put that in a book so people know, look, is it exciting? Hell yes. It can be the highest of highs, but it can also be extremely dangerous. And you need to know about that going into it. Once you open that door, it's hard to close.
And just health-wise, you don't know what you're breathing. You don't know you don't know what you're coming in contact with. These places that we're going into are been abandoned for whatever reason, for that matter. You know, here we are. You know, these hotspots are tuberculosis. I mean, who's to say that stuff is still not lingering around?
Don't you wonder that when you go into one of these big abandoned hospitals? Like, you know, are there germs still here after 100 years? I don't know. Don't touch anything.
Well, Samantha actually works at a haunted location.
What the hell?
I do. I'm the executive director at Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum in Rockford, Illinois. So we have over 10,000 artifacts in our museum from this one family. 98% of what you see is original. It's as if they just got up and left one day, except they didn't actually leave. They're all still hanging around.
Oh my God, it sounds amazing.
It is. Awesome.
You got to come visit.
Oh yes. Girl, I'm on my way.
If you get a chance, go to Ghost Hunters, season 5.
Nope, season 8, episode 20, Ghost Hunters from Sci-Fi Channel. The episode's called Fear Factory, but we are the second half of the episode.
I saw that. You do not work there.
Yes.
Do you?
I'm the executive director, so I'm in charge of everything.
I'm girl fanning right now, girl Sam. Girl fanning all over this.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how exciting is that?
We got some crazy evidence from there, so yeah, it's pretty wild. pretty well placed. And yeah, and Chris Fleming's got like 3 sold out shows going on over there this summer.
I do like Chris. I have met Chris before. Yes.
Yep. And then we've also got the Clean Brothers coming at the end of July. And a lot of exciting.
Damn, I'm jealous.
Well, you got to make it up here.
Listen, don't tempt me.
Just remember, bring barbecue with you.
Okay, you got it. I'll trade you barbecue for yours.
Yes, barbecue.
Oh my God, that just sounds so up my alley.
So how do you communicate with the dead?
I do think after doing it so long that, your senses get heightened because you open that door and the spirits learn, hey, you know what, this person is open. And you guys know sometimes they force their way in. It's not always, invited. But I think just for doing it so long that, I'm a bit of an empath. Like you really can tell. I'm sure you guys know. I think we all have the ability when you go into a place to instantly know something's not right here. And so I do a lot with the equipment, the spirit boxes, the REM pods, of course, all of that kind of stuff. But I do special sessions for one-on-one people that maybe have lost a loved one and needs a message for them. I caution people who try to do that too soon. Sometimes if they're just so overwhelmed with grief and they'll come and like, Becky, can we see what we can get and try to give them a message? But sometimes I have to say it's too soon. It's just been 2 or 3 weeks and you're grieving. And sometimes that can make the grieving process worse. The longing for such a message and maybe it's just not time yet. So you've got to be in a good place to receive a message, because if you hear their voice or get a message that's very personal, then you want to hear that again and again and again. You know what I'm saying? Right. So just all different ways.
Yeah, and very accepted to the message too. So positive place and all things considered. So that's cool that you look out for that to make sure that you're protecting. Yes. I don't know, they pay you if they're the clients or just a friend or whatever.
Hell no. You will never pay me a cent. Now, Little Debbie's or something sweet, we'll do a trade-off. No, I don't charge for anything. I do a lot of commercial and residential investigations. If you guys are paying any of your listeners, you're with the wrong team, the wrong group. Do not ever pay, because we're in it for the love of the research and to help you. So don't ever do that.
Pay it forward, right?
Yeah. Well, unless again you got some Little Debbie's you want to trade. I'm such a junkie. It's terrible.
Right. Well, hey, that's like me and barbecue sauce. Barbecue.
Well, I know what to bring up that way.
So in the paranormal field, you're using these devices. Have you seen, or what have you seen with your own eyes? Not where they're giving you message, something where you have actually seen that you kind of question, or still
Absolutely. Yes, my very first experience, and like on TV, again, and I'm not knocking TV, because if you guys could see my DVR right now, all it is ghost hunters, whatever is paranormal, that's all there is. But my first experience was with another team just starting out, and we did a haunted bar for Halloween. And we had a camera crew with us because it was going to air on their local TV channels. And so the owner had called us because he had a little dog, a little squatty dog, and a pug. Isn't that the little squatty dogs with the smushed up face? Yeah. And he...
Who's the guy behind you?
Oh, that's Casper. That's Casper. And
it's like
Tucker,
you said, don't little dog, and here comes a little dog. And I'm like, how do you cue that?
Yeah, I always wonder, does he hate that name? Like, I don't have a normal dog name. But anyway, so the owner he stayed late after the bar shut down at 2, and he always had this little dog with him, and he wanted the dog to stay in his like office with him upstairs, and this little dog just refused to come upstairs, this sort of thing. So we're filming, and one of the coolest things that I've ever seen with my eyes, well, there's 2 in this location, and it was in McKinney, Texas, was the camera crew. You guys know this. The lights started going out, their batteries on their big cameras started draining, and they're ticked. They're a little ticky about it, but you know what happens when that's around. So I volunteered to walk to the other end of the bar and get one of their battery packs for them. And as I did, I walked past the bar stools up against an old-timey bar and didn't think a thing about it. Y'all, literally, it probably took me less than 2 minutes to walk from one end to the other. And when I turned around, every single bar stool was sitting upright on the bar. Upright, like not turned upside down on the bar. And I bet there was probably 10 chairs. I freaked out because I literally knew I just walked by there, and we caught it on video.
What?
So they had cameras going, and so these chairs just kind of went bloop, 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 just stacked up on top of this bar. Anyway, so that I saw with my own eyes. It was super cool. But what it really got to me was after all of this had gone on, we're loading stuff up in the van, and I walk out by myself to the van and put some stuff in it. And as I come back, I see this lady, full on colored dress. She had a little wrist purse, like beaded, hair's in a bun, obviously a period kind of clothing. And she was sitting on a park bench, just very still. And it wasn't a glimpse. It wasn't like, oh, I saw that for a second. I'm examining this person as I'm walking up. I'm like, damn, did I not notice one of those statues? You know how, they have the bronze statues or whatever? Like, did I not notice that all night long, that there was a lady on the park bench? And so anyway, I go on into the building, and I'm commenting, like, yo, I didn't even notice that park bench lady out there. And the owner pops up and says, oh, you saw her? And I said, her? And he said, yes. They did not tell us anything about this, but supposedly it was a lady of a farmer who had died, and so she continued to come on Sundays and bring the crops in to sell. So every Sunday she put on her one best dress and her little purse and would sit on the benches and sell the cotton and sell the stuff. And so that freaked me out, and that really hooked me in. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to see that again. So I saw an apparition really, really for a long time. It was greatness.
That's pretty wild. And not only did you see it, it's like you had a moment to study it. Like you're looking at it. Like you're looking at a picture. Oh, she had the lace-up boots. I mean, I drew her actually because it just got in my head. So I'm like, I have to draw this person. The dress was, it wasn't a vibrant blue. It was kind of dull. And Sam, you might know this. Sometimes when we have our clothes hanging for years that we're going to get to and wear, the color kind of fades. And it was kind of like that. But it was amazing. It was full on. It wasn't foggy. It wasn't see-through, transparent. No, it was as clear as you and I. And it kind of brings up the question, like, how many apparitions do we actually see? You just had a chance to validate it with somebody that was in the bar. Had that not validation took place, you would assume that it was just somebody sitting there.
100%. And it was just the owner's expression when I said it. He goes, oh, you saw her? And I'm like, yeah, the figurine or whatever, the bronze. And he's like, oh no, that's this lady that we think came when her husband died, and she continued to come every Sunday and sell the crops and whatever. I'm like, geez, that was awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. So was going back to like the Goatman's Bridge, is that, well, you say you got started when you were 16. I'm trying to timeline how the Goatman's Bridge was like your one thing that you actually focused on more than stuff that you've done prior to this.
Yes. I guess when I was in my early 20s, I moved to Denton, Texas, and I heard people talk about this haunted bridge forever. But
Okay.
at the time, I just never really thought anything about it. Like, okay, I need to check that out someday. And I finally went down, and it was just me by myself, and I'm walking around. I have a little recorder with me, and I got the most amazing EVPs from the spirit named Oscar and Steve, and all these different names were coming through. So I'm like, oh my God, there's something to this bridge. First, it's creepy, and so it sucked me right in. So then every weekend, every weeknight that I had free, I'm going to this bridge, and I'm taking different equipment and see what I can find out. And I've been doing that for probably 20 years now, going down to the bridge. And then, of course, Ghost Adventures came and did the big Halloween special there, and that started mass mania. So we have tons of people at the bridge now. But it is a very, very haunted place. It does have both good and bad spirits. But you guys come down and we'll go to the bridge.
That's what I was going to ask. I heard a lot of negativity spirits in that area, more than the positive ones.
Yeah, because people don't like to talk about the positive ones, right? It makes a creepier story to talk about demonic stuff, which there is. To this day, there is a lot of satanic rituals that go on. They leave candles, they leave symbols. I mean, this is quite regular. This is not something that happened and doesn't happen anymore. It happens a lot. So I don't mess with demons and that sort of thing, because I think you have to be super spiritual to battle those things. Now, your normal dead guy and bad guy, yeah, I'm good for that. But demons, I don't want to expose anybody I'm taking on a tour or anybody else that I feel there's a hesitance that if something bad happened, I couldn't help them in some sort of way. So I do believe there is a sayer, which is a half man and half goat at the bridge. I do think that's been summoned there. I don't think it's been an original, something tied to the land kind of thing. I think it's been summoned there by, maybe some, I don't want to say it's the satanic people, worshipers or whatever, but I think it's been summoned there by someone or some group.
Sam, do you have anything to add to that?
Man, I mean, that's one thing about at least my location is they're all very positive energy, a lot of positivity there. Every now and then, like somebody's got a relative or somebody that comes with them that's a little, ugh.
Yeah.
I commend you. I personally do shy away from anything that even maybe hinted at demonic. I'm like, nope, I'm out.
I'm with you, girl. It's just too dangerous, right? I mean, I think you need to be a person of the faith, a cloth, a priest or an exorcist, or, I mean, good Lord, we're talking about something that's never been human. So how do you rationalize with that, right? I don't know. I have been to places that I've felt scared before, and I do feel like the goat man that's out there is been summoned there, and I've only myself personally thought that I've seen this creature once in all these years of doing it. It's not like every weekend we see this. I've seen it once, but normally when I'm traveling around and going to sites, demonic sites and stuff like that is not something that I particularly want to go check out. I'm going to Sam's place where all the spirits are friendly.
Yeah, we've got a whole group of Caspers. Not the dog, but, no, I mean, so when you do take your tours, I mean, I'm sure that you talk about that aspect as well. Have you ever had people have like really negative reactions while they're there on site, or?
Yes. One of the things with Ghost Adventures and that, I'm just going to say it, not everything that you see on the shows are real. It's made for TV, guys. Keep that in mind. Do you have a kitty?
I do.
I
His
keep
name's
seeing
Bobby
this
Dog.
link. Oh, well, hey, kitty. You know, it's made for television, guys, so they have to add some stuff in there. I personally refuse to do some of the things that Ghost Adventures wanted us to do, because this is what I do. So my reputation is all I have, and I will not jeopardize that for anybody or anything. But one of the things on Ghost Adventures that was real and I witnessed was the possession of Ashley. If you guys watched it or remember that part where she was a still photographer and she started crying and she got really angry and all of this kind of stuff. I do believe that was one of our more evil spirits trying to possess her. And we got her away from the location and she felt much better. But literally she did quit the show 2 weeks later. Like,
wow.
she just had such a terrible traumatic experience. But yes, we've had people be scratched. There's a really nasty growl that you hear sometimes. That's pretty frequent. And to me, that does not, I'm a country girl, if y'all couldn't tell. So I know the sounds of nature. I know what critters sound like. This is not anything that you want to hear. This is not something of this world, to put it that way. It is a nasty growl. And to me, this is where I would use the word demonic. I mean, it just is, it's not in a distance. It's always right in your ear, almost breathy like. So we have had people physically get sick at their stomachs and throw up, the scratches. Gosh, we've had people that didn't even make it to the entrance of the bridge that's like, no, it's a no-go for me. I'm out. So it does affect people different ways.
Do you find that people... Go ahead, Dean.
I was going to say to that point is, do you have the opposite? Do you have the people that go in there and say, this is bull crap?
Oh, yeah.
And I know that you, just looking at what you do and what you support, you believe in the unbelievable. You just believe in this. And how do you have you worked with those people, or do you just say that's a one-off, I'm not going to waste my time with that person? Or do you take that extra step to try to get that person saying, look at it a different way, through a different lens, and then see what you see?
Well, I like to start the tours out by saying, I am not here to make you believe in spirits or ghosts or anything. My belief is my belief. What you experienced tonight, whether that changes your mind or not, I don't care. I would say that 9 out of 10 times when we do our tours, somebody experiences something physical or mentally or empathically. But I do have those folks that come on and go, you're just full of crap, lady. Like, I don't believe a word you're saying. And I just try to step back and say, okay, you know, there's always going to be naysayers, no matter what. I'm sure you guys have experienced it. And I'm just okay with it. So I just try to tell them, okay, you know, I don't make a big deal, but I have had to ask a couple of people to leave the tour that were just so negative and, you know, oh, you think there's bad spirits out here? That's who I want. That's who I want to talk to. And I'm like, oh, no. I'm going to need you to leave. So, you know, to each their own, right? I think all I have to do is tour somebody through those woods to change their mind. So I think that's my go-to. It's like, okay, you're going to start out as a non-believer, but when we get back to the cars, I bet you have a different opinion.
Yeah, see that,
not always.
See that tree over there in the distance? Go over there and I'll meet you right there, and then you turn around and leave them alone.
Yes, right? Right. Okay, you can't walk with us. You're so big and bad. Let's just get back. You get through these woods by yourself.
By yourself.
I would never do that, people.
You'll change your mind pretty quick, I'll tell you.
Yeah. I will say that this has been a couple of years ago, but there is this tree along the trail that we've been told by a psychic that is a portal, and it's split up the middle. It's very unusual looking, and there's always offerings and symbols and stuff that people leave around this tree. But I believe, as any haunted object, it's all about the intention, right? Like, what was the intent of the person that left that there? Was it something bad or was it something good? We don't know. But I do believe by touching something, a haunted object, going into a haunted house, touching the walls, that energy is going to absorb to you. And you need to be aware to protect yourself against that. So the tours, I probably toured 1,000 people, no less than 1,000 people through these woods. And I asked them, please don't touch the tree, because I can help you with ghosts and spirits. But if there is something demonic or something that the intent was to cause harm, I don't know what it is, and so I can't help you there. We had one young boy that was 16 that was like, what you're saying, Dean, screw you, lady. And he walked up and he gave the big tree a hug. I almost passed out, just cold right there. I mean, I'm just like, oh my God, something bad's going to happen. Something's bad going to happen to this kid. And, he's just blowing me off, whatever. So the very next morning, one of his friends contacted me and said that he was in a very bad car wreck that night. And he was actually in the hospital. And this was one of the boys that had came with him on the tour. And I just felt really, really bad that I couldn't get him to understand. You might want to listen to me about something like this. And a lot of people, I tell that story too, and they're like, well, it's just a coincidence. Okay, I don't think so. Out of 1,000 people, one kid touches it and is in a bad car wreck. No, that tells me all I need to know. It's bad, and I hope, I'm sure your listeners know, you have to protect yourself, just like, hell, playing sports. You wear protective gear. It's no different. You have to surround yourself with light and strong vibes that you can resist anything. It's you have to. Oh, yeah, Katie, hi, Katie.
Actually, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so that was one of the things I wanted to ask you about, because I did like a deep dive through all of your blogs.
Oh, thank you.
No, they were great. I really enjoyed them. But there was one where I read that, about taking home pieces from your investigations and things like that. And, it's very tempting sometimes to do so, especially if it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. Oh, it's just a little rock, or it's just a twig, or that's a piece of broken glass, right?
Yes.
So do you find that you have people trying to take things home with them, like from your walks and your events?
Absolutely. And I'm a big no on that. I mean, people come and they're like, oh, well, the little clear jars, we're just going to take some sand from here. And I'm like, no, not a twig, not a rock, not anything, because it doesn't belong to you. It would be like somebody walking in your house and going, hey, that's your favorite cup, I'm going to take it. You have to think of, it's not yours. And if you take something, if somebody did that in your home, what would you do? You would chase after them, right? You would go try to get your stuff back. That's the same thing with a haunted location. You have to leave their stuff alone. Don't take it. I have myself experienced the temptation. We've all been there, like, oh, it's just a little rock this big. What the hell? But I took a rock like that from an old store, abandoned store, and I knew better. Damn it, I knew better. But I brought this little tiny rock home, and oh my God, I got very, very sick. I had a car wreck, not a bad one, but a fender bender, but all these things, and I'm like, I knew instantly, oh, hell no, I got to take this back. This is not mine. That's it. That one instant, I've never taken another thing. Even though you might kick a stone around all the way before you leave, it's like, oh, maybe. No, don't do it, people. Don't do it. What about y'all? How do y'all feel about that? Like, do y'all think you should leave things alone? Y'all might be different and think, oh, it's nothing.
No, I mean, personally, I I'm very much the same way. Like, I could.
I know.
Small enough. It could fit.
So
I can put it on my windowsill or like in my little garden. There's a perfect spot for this rock.
Yeah.
And like I know I have very good close friends who, you know, one of them, she brings home a rock with wherever she travels.
Oh, hell.
But she does it in a way where it's very much, you know, asking permission and making sure it's not a dark location, and you know, it goes into her garden. And
I do think that helps for people if you just can't help yourself and you want those bragging rights of, you know what, I have this rock from Waverly Hills when I visited there. If you just can't help yourself and you've got to take something, you know, I do think that you ask permission, like you said, Sam, and, you know, hey, may I take this rock with me? The intent of it is just for my enjoyment, my pleasure. And please and thank you goes a long way. You know, you might be okay with that. I just I'm not doing it.
I will say I've had more people come home with me from when I bought something like at an antique store. Where
Agreed.
It's not even, well, I went to this super, you know, terrible place. I just saw this and thought it was cool at the store and I bought it. I paid money for it. And all of a sudden there's a man walking around my house.
Yeah, right? That happens. I agree with you.
I mean, as long as the intent is pure, and I don't know, I'm very hesitant with actual investigations bringing anything home.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it can happen no matter what.
Do you guys do protection prayers? Do you believe in that, or you know, any?
I do.
Protection. Yeah. I
won't say yes for both of us. I do, but
yeah,
you know,
I'm reckless.
Dang. Well, look, it's mandatory on my tour that I do a protection prayer. You don't have to hold hands. It's nothing weird. We're just asking the spirits that we encountered to stay where they are and not follow anybody home. But that's a mandatory requirement. So,
well, I'm already
sorry, Dean.
When I say
I'm gonna say a protection for you anyway.
I say that I'm reckless, but I already feel that I have that light and ability, the positive stuff.
Good.
And I'm already bringing, because I've done the research on the property, and I would go there with the intent to validate the spirit's existence opposed to hunt them. So my intent is already there going into the place. There was only one place that I asked for protection that night, and that was at St. Albans in Virginia, Radford, Virginia. And every ounce of energy, I did not want to cross the threshold. And so I went into the corner, watched the sun go down, and said, Jesus, why am I here? What am I doing? Because there was so much negative. That whole place was just dark and everything. And I wanted to show the spirits a little bit of light. And I think by doing that, it helped me. And I had a great night. That whole night felt great, wonderful. Everything was fine. And that was the one time I actually asked for it, because it was more than what I would normally bring into a place with my positive stuff. So
it's got to be about positivity, because that's our intent, right? Like, what is, you will never catch me doing the taunting stuff like, oh, I'm badass and y'all can't hurt me. Like, that's not coming out of my mouth, because I do believe in respect for the spirits and those who, whether they're a little cranky or not, like maybe they weren't a good spirit and when they were living. That's another thing for your listeners. You don't get to be bad here on earth and die and suddenly be good. It doesn't work like that. Your personality traits actually go with you till you cross the other side. And then there's no human emotion when you get to heaven or hell. There's none of the human emotions. But until you get there, you know, if you were cranky here on earth, you're going to be a cranky spirit in the afterlife that we're going to encounter. You know, you may throw crap at us and all that good stuff. But,
do you bring them? Do you bring them offerings? Do you offer something to the spirits that you go to?
I do. You know what? We do there is a ton of children's spirits at the bridge. And a lot of travelers, what I call travelers, just people that's crossed the bridge that maybe is residual energy. But at Christmas, we actually take lots of small gifts. We put up a Christmas tree deep down in the woods, and we leave things for the children at Christmas. So I do. I'm dorky like that. I do that.
Nothing dorky about that at all. That's awesome and amazing. I mean, who goes out of their way to do that? And that's appreciated for the spirits and everyone, you know.
Well, it's respect. You know, I think they protect me when I'm there, and so I am very protective of them. I don't like when people come out and do negative things. We have, because of the bridge's history with the satanic cults and the KKK and this sort of thing, man, we have, and I'm not knocking anybody, so please no hate mail, but a lot of YouTubers come out there and recreate really violent scenes and stuff, and that doesn't set too well with me, you know. Let's talk about the little children spirits that like to play with your hair or touch you, you know. Let's talk about those guys.
I wanted to know if you actually have an offering. You have a ghost gone wine?
Oh, ghost gone wine. Yeah, I'm not drinking wine tonight, but it's tea. I always have tea. Yes, in Denton, Texas, we're on hiatus right now, but it's in a basement of one of the square businesses on the square in Denton, Texas, and so we do a little slide show of ghosts and spirits, and we have wine and cheese, and then we go ghost hunting.
Fun.
Building. So we have a little wine and cheese, and then we hit it. Just a fun thing. Just a fun thing. We don't let you go if you're really smashed or any of that kind of stuff. So let me preface it with that.
Let's go to the bridge, everybody.
Let's go right now.
How many
Bring
spirits
the wine. That's right. I saw one spirit coming in. I see 10 now. Let's go.
So is this bridge over an actual like a creek, a river, or what is it? What's underneath it?
It actually is a creek, and
Okay.
It doesn't run unless we get a hard rain, and then it's just very swift. It's really nasty. Like, it's not clear water. It's not. You could not pay me to eat a fish out of this thing. But there's people fishing all the time. I'm just like,
Oh, really?
no way. Yeah, it's disgusting. The water is disgusting. It's brown and muddy and yeah. But it actually is over a creek.
So do you have a lot of activity in the daytime, or is it more centered at nighttime? I know some locations it doesn't, like with the Tinkers, it don't matter day or night, they're active. But
Right.
I know with other locations, it does seem to make a difference. Do you find that at yours?
You know what? I've experienced things in the daytime. Sometimes I work very close to the bridge. I'm only like maybe 10 minutes from the bridge. So sometimes I'll go down there and have lunch. And when I go have lunch, I'll bring equipment and sit in my car beside the bridge and have my lunch and talk to the spirits or whatever. And my equipment will go bananas, you know, while I'm just sitting there in the daytime. One thing during the day I think makes it harder is we don't recognize things moving quite as much as we do in the dark, if that makes sense, because you're more aware of your surroundings. Like, you know, if a rock got thrown in the daytime, you'd think, oh, somebody kicked a rock around or whatever. But at night, it's like, wait, what happened? So I don't know. I think I get just as much during the day as I do at night. Now there's less people at night, so that kind of helps. You know, not so much heavy traffic.
Sure.
So what do you got planned for 2023? I just saw the something with a Tuesday night. You're competing with me now, apparently.
I love you. I love you. Like, this is not competition. This is support. You guys are going to have to come on. Yes. A friend of mine and I, we decided to start a podcast. We've been asked for about a year now, like, why don't y'all start it? We suck at it. Let's just be real. We don't know what we're doing. We have no idea what we're doing. So we decided to call it Our Side Paranormal. about, because we're trying to talk about our side, but how a ghost sees things even. Like, look, y'all don't be rude. Y'all don't be rude to them. I wouldn't like it. You know, they wouldn't like it. But yeah, we're going to try to go live in June. Right now we're pre-recording a lot of things, and our very first guest is somebody super good from somebody on TV with the initials GB. I can't say because I don't want to ruin our surprise, but there's 3 of them, if that helps. And they're very funny.
Ghost Bros?
No. But I would love to have you guys on. But yes, we're sticking our toe into the podcast kind of world and see where it goes. And it sure is fun because I like to talk about paranormal stuff. So anyway, yeah.
Definitely look forward to it. So it's going to be every Tuesday night?
It is. We're hoping to release the first episode June, what is it, 3rd or 4th, whatever the first Tuesday is in June. And now I don't know how you guys were told, but we were told we had to have like 10 or 15 from other people that have done podcasts so that people could binge listen. So we're like, oh, hell, we got to record that much? We just kind of want to sit around and talk, right? So we're hoping to have some episodes recorded, and right now we're recording twice a week so that we can build up a library for people. If they like us, great. If they don't, that's okay too.
That's what, so,
Any pointers from you guys?
Well, I don't know about pointers. I just use this StreamYard thing and put it on Facebook, and then I would go and upload it and do some editing for YouTube and throw it out there. And what's stuck. I mean,
yeah. We suck at editing. I'm just going to be real with y'all. Don't expect a full-on thing because it's just us, really.
I like video editing, but I do have to say it's like for every hour spent, you get a minute of video. So
listen, I'm figuring that out. We're doing ours through Zoom, and the first night we're trying to do an hour episode, right? Y'all, we were on there 3 hours because we messed up so much. And we're trying to figure it out. It's like, girl, we've been on here 3 hours. I got to go to bed. I'm over it, you know. Yes, but you guys listen.
Yeah, if you're trying to video or edit, yeah, I could see. So your 3 hours is going to turn into 1 hour.
Yes. And our editing, do not expect talk. I'm kind of sucking at promoting this, right? It's going to be a fun show, but, it's just us two, and we have no idea what we're doing.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Laura, I see your comment. Thank you you join us when we get our podcast going.
Yep. And I know as I perused your Facebook and stalked you a little bit there,
okay.
I did see that you had a annual all-female paranormal investigation.
Yes, we do. It's fabulous. We went to, I think it's called Pythian Castle, and it's in Kansas this last year.
Oh,
and
nice.
It's just a bunch of females. We do all weekend, and it's really to support one another because we come from all over. And so it's just kind of a get together, girls in the paranormal world, not trying to be badasses. We're girls. We do girly stuff, and then we investigate. So it's so much fun. Yes, we just did that. We tried to do it annually.
Badass girl.
We are badass. I take that back. Everybody that listened and went to the conference there. Yeah, we're actually going this weekend with some friends of mine to Magnolia Hotel. It's supposed to be very haunted. Last weekend, Lisa Isaacs, that is my co-host on our podcast, she and I spent the night in a super haunted jail called Lavaca County Jail. Y'all, it was crazy active in there. I can't wait to go back. It's like, it was good.
That sounds like a lot of
fun. I was going to question. So I thought you were out there just searching for like a full female.
I missed that. I'm sorry.
You're breaking up, Dean.
Oh, well, with the all-female paranormal investigation, I assumed that maybe you were going not to a jail, but more like the female spirits per se. Like you're looking for famous.
Oh
female,
no.
no, any
Nope,
spirits up
it's
for grabs?
just yeah. It's just a fun weekend for us to kind of support one another. You guys, this field's a tough field, right? I mean, people, it comes with a lot of negativity. People want to shoot you down because they don't believe what you're saying or your experiences, and that's fine. But it's a tough business. It's a tough gig to keep your positive sides up. But I think I've done it long enough that it's okay now. I'm used to, whatever. I don't care that you believe me or don't. I just don't. So it's just about supporting each other. I'd like to do like a big conference with everybody, men, women, kids, whatever, and just do something fun.
Yeah. Do you use?
I think you guys should help me.
Hey, we're there. Trigger objects. I know you use the devices. Are you big on using trigger objects in your investigations?
Absolutely, I am. I think one of the things that people like to go to locations and go in blind, what they call blind, where they don't know anything. And, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm kind of on the fence. I personally like to know what I might encounter. So I like the history. I like the research of, there was a shootout here, or, I'm not, I don't think it lessens my experience of knowing what I might encounter, but going in blind to me seems a little risky. But I love to know, we're going to a jail. So we took handcuffs. We took
sorry,
strictly for prisoners. Let me be clear on that, people. Get your minds out of the gutter. I know where it went. We actually set up a birthday party. It was, we try so hard to think outside the box of, I'm thinking if I was a spirit and every night somebody said, "What's your name? How did you die?" I'm like, oh. I've answered that like 1,000 million times. So we try to think outside the box. So in the female part of the jail, we took a pretty little tablecloth. We took some flowers, some cutesy plates, and we had a little snack up there trying to say, we know that females, this is what y'all would like. And we got some amazing EVPs. So we, do stuff like that. Children are my absolute favorite. I want to talk to all the children's spirits. Come on up to me. So I take a lot of toys. I'm very big on stuff that lights up and easy to see on camera. I think the sound things are really cool, but I want to see it light up on camera when you're watching back your videos. And the ball rose, I want a sticker of some glow in the dark something so that I can see that physically moving. So I'm all about trigger objects. I love them.
I mean, you mentioned earlier about the bar stools. I mean, that's phenomenal in a sense. But with the kids,
I know, that was crazy.
With the kids, and when you said about outside the box and everything, I grabbed my heart in appreciation because that's something that I'm totally about. And I know Laura and I went down about 3 hours south of here to a little house, and the family was just moving out of the house, and there was a little boy there that would see spirits, and it just happened to be his birthday. So Laura and I went downtown to the square. They had some kind of craft show there. But as we were gone, I took some paper and put it on the floor with crayons next to each paper. And I said, if there's any spirits here that would like to wish the young boy a happy birthday, please write it on the paper. So again, thinking outside the box, using
there
trigger.
You go.
Instead of saying, what year is it? Who's the president of the United States?
I know.
Come on. You don't even ask that to real people.
Right. I agree, Dean. You don't. I like to ask stuff like, especially when you're talking about children back from the 1800s, 1850s, whatever. I'm always like, what was your daily chores? Did you feed chickens? Because you have to think back. It's not modern times. So they probably had, cows and pigs. And so I really try to think about what they might have said. I know I went to Villisca a few years back, and that tragic story of the kids getting murdered. And so we're sitting in the living room, and I know that I felt the children. And you guys know when you get that feeling, oh, the kids are here, the kids are here. And I just felt like one of the little girls were there. And so I said, what was your favorite thing of the morning? Trying again to think outside the box, not how old are you, what happened to you, that sort of thing. And it said, or she said, feed the chickens. So that what brought that example. It was very plain. It was a class EVP. And so I really try to go down that road and think about things that other people aren't asking. Sometimes they're dorky as hell, but, I was like, what was your favorite colors of your shoes, or do you know how to tie your shoelaces? That, some of it's, reel it back a little bit, but.
Well, ironically, when you say what color is your, so I like to also add no nonsense questions, just to see if the spirit is, if something is different than it is. So I kind of mix it up a little bit. So at the Roadhouse in Oregon, which was on Dead Files.
Oh, I love Dead Files. Just saying, I'm a fan.
I want to say it was called The Obsession, season 5, episode 5. Maybe that's where I got that, Sam. I think it is season 5, episode 5 for that one, Roadhouse. It's down in Oregon, Illinois here. But we were just sitting there, and then all of a sudden they said, "What color is the chicken?" And nothing
really?
Nothing happened. So then we went upstairs, and inside this locked room is this wood cutout giant chicken, because it's an old Roadhouse, and they had chicken specials. And it was this giant.
Oh my gosh!
They had this giant cutout chicken, and then I go, "Hey, there's a chicken." I go, "Hey, what color is the chicken?" And the ghost box said brown. And
I love it.
It was a brown.
I love
chicken.
it.
So again, off the wall question, just no nonsense questions, and
there you go.
What you're gonna get,
Yes, I always feel like sometimes, how you just having visions in your head. I feel like the spirits are laying back on their bed like this with their legs crossed. It's like, yes, my name is Becky. Yes, I've been dead 10 years. Yes, it's 2023. And then when somebody says something different, it's like, Becky, what was the last thing you ate? It's like, wait, I wasn't ready for that. A new question.
And then Laura chimes in, with kids using a Simon game and candy with crinkle wrappers can work as good trick or optics.
Agreed. Good idea.
Now, if you're going into, and again, with the history, if you're going into an old place, one of the things that I was going to mention is with the whole female investigation, female spirit, is that girls used to do the button strings.
Yes.
And they would have to get these buttons, and by the time they got to like 1,000, the man you're supposed to marry, that's the number 1,000 button, and that's who the person you're going to marry is, the guy that gives you that button. So I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I've heard a little bit about that, but I've never tried it or anything. But I guess I need to get a jar of buttons and give that a go.
Well, again, back to the point, like we're taking objects, and we be taking objects, right, Sam?
Right. I know I have a little scare bear that I like to use. It's just a little tiny teddy bear, not very big, but it's got a REM pod in it. So whenever it gets touched, it lights up and it makes the beep sound, but it's like lights up with white and red lights through the fur. So it gets used every now and then. I will say the kids like to use it more than the adults from my own investigations. But it you just never know what they're going to react to, though, as well. Some of them like, the more conventional things because they're like, well, the last group of people came in here, did this. We're familiar. We know how to do this.
Agreed.
I think, like you said, they kind of like the outside of the box thinking.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, at least with the investigations, the places that I've gone, they are popular locations that the same questions and the same things get brought up each time. And so it's kind of, I think it's kind of nice when somebody's like, did you guys ever try Chinese food?
Yes.
How-
Exactly. I know. I wish we could see a little more of that on TV because it does get in a little repetitiveness of who's here, what's your name on TV, and I love the shows. Don't get me wrong. Again, I watch everything and anything to do with ghosts, paranormal, all that. But I think it is nice to hear a different, what was the last book you read, or, just really go hard on thinking outside the box. Whether you think it's a weird question, the spirits may go, wait a minute. Oh, finally, somebody that asked me something different. I think I'm going to answer that really loud and plain. And yeah.
And back to the shows and back to even the skeptic side of things is you have to, or I feel that it's a need or necessity to watch them because you might take one thing away and say, oh, wait, I didn't think of that. Or maybe look at things differently and, in your own research, you may see something out there, especially if you are going to the same places. So if you have 5 TV shows that go to the same locations and now you're going to go there, at least you have a good idea of what not to do.
I agree.
Waste, the last thing you need to do is waste your time because, you're not on TV. So therefore you're spending your own money to get there and it's a pay to play place.
Yes, agree.
And so the last thing you want to do is waste your time investigating or talking to the spirits. And again, back to the point where you do your research, what kind of spirits are there. So you kind of bring something as a token, an offering, a validation of their existence pretty much. And validation goes a long way in this realm. And I believe in the next realm.
Oh, I agree.
And the heavenly realm as well. So I know we're short on time here, and I would love to bring you back on to talk about even that further realm because I think you have more to offer there, if I'm not mistaken.
Y'all, I've had so much fun. You guys are fantastic.
It was so nice
for having me.
Well, no, thank you for coming back on. And I'm glad you're doing well.
I'm fabulous. Thank you.
Yeah, the COVID didn't get you too bad then. That was
no.
Cool.
No, that was bad. I had a bad case of that stuff. This is the first time I'd gotten it. I know people get it 2 and 3 times or whatever. Lord, I don't want to do that again. And I was vaccinated and still caught it. So anyway.
And we've had, are you familiar with Victoria Monday?
Yes.
We've had her on many a times on our paranormal shows. So
very nice. She's super sweet. I follow her on Facebook and stuff. She seems very nice.
Yeah. And she's down there in Jefferson. She was just at the Jefferson conference.
I missed it this year, but yes, at the Jefferson Hotel and conference. Haunted History and Legends or something, I think.
Yep. So I can't wait to see what she has to offer. And then, of course, your podcast coming up in June.
Do not judge me, Dean.
Sam knows I don't judge nobody.
We don't know how it's going to go, but we'll give it a shot.
I think it's going to be great.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else planned for 2023?
Well, I will be up in Alton at the Haunted America Conference. I'd love that. I've been going, I think this will be my 25th year, 30, 26, however years. I've missed one. So I've made some really good friends up in that area from going to the conference. I'm super excited. But of course, there's always stuff in the works, right? We went to the Conjuring House last year or 2 years ago. I get messed up at the COVID time, you know. So I want to go back there. Gosh, there's just so much. Look, I'm a Gemini, so all you have to do is say go to me, and I'm in the car, and let's go. I don't think things out and beg for forgiveness later. So if I show up at your doors, y'all told me to come.
Perfect. We'll welcome you with open arms, as long as you got the barbecue.
I'll bring it. You got that. I will just mention everybody can follow me, Becky Vickers, on Facebook, Twitter, and all that. I'm learning TikTok. Again, do not judge me on my TikTok. I got scolded by my daughter because all I posted was dog pictures of Casper and my other little dog. She's like, I do not want to see another dog picture. You're a ghost hunter. Put ghost stuff on there. But I don't know how to do it, so I'm just learning. But you guys can follow me or read my blog, becksghosthunters.com. And I love talking to people. So you guys hit me up, send me messages or whatever. And I hope to see you guys again on my show next time.
Sounds like fun.
All right, well, stay put. I'll go.
You.
Just stay
nice
put.
to meet you guys.
I'll end the broadcast. Say goodbye to everyone. Thanks for joining for this episode of Paranormal Pickers. See you next week with Sam and I, and we'll talk again more about the Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum. And we'll leave a surprise out there. There's always surprises at the Tinker Swiss. Good night, everyone.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Oh, hey. Wow. Oh, hey, everyone. It's Dean from Paranormal Pickers. Oh, I got the preview for the next episode. Oh, yeah. Here, take a peek. Oh.
This place is haunted.